my, what a beautiful day.
Everything is green.
I love it. I need at least 40 shades of it. Oh, hello. The thunder's rolling. Sidier, didn't you say you were also having a storm right now?
Yeah.
I had a nasty storm last night.
I think a storm's going to be rolling in here later.
It's just rolling across the country, I think.
Yeah.
Last night we had like 60-mile-per-hour winds. I was sitting in my Tahoe at work as the rain was just pelting my Tahoe, and the winds were blowing hard enough that it was rocking my Tahoe.
What's a Tahoe?
Crazy.
It is a type of vehicle.
Is it a truck?
It's an SUV.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
I call it my truck anyways because SUV is it's basically a truck with a covered back end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's storming pretty hard here right now. The thunder roll. Beautifully maniacal.
Since we got storms everywhere.
Is this storm music? So, Zim, a curious question.
I might have an interesting answer.
I've noticed that for the donation goals that we've been putting up on the daily, you put different prices for different things, even though you have no idea what these things are.
What are you talking about?
The Gypsy Amulet today is $6. I believe last Friday there was something called the Tombstone Makeover for 10 or 11, something like that.
No, it was $6 as well.
Was it? Okay. Is it just always $6 then? I could have sworn there was another day.
Sometimes I do add up a few days. Technically, I try for $3 every day, but I haven't been getting many donations lately, so I've been just doing $6 every day instead.
Gotcha.
Would be really nice to start getting donations every day again. That made my life a lot easier.
Understood.
But I know can afford to help, so if you got money, subscribe. I mean, it's only $2.50 a month, which really isn't that much for a single person.
I'm surprised that my mic isn't picking up some of these thunderous storms and the thunder that comes with it. So, with this new party, we do have a new person joining us today. Well, this isn't a new party, but there's one new individual with the party.
That's
bringing.
me.
Yes, it is. Say hello to the people.
There's
Greetings,
also
everybody.
there's also one that left. He got scared
Yes.
away by Risforn's awesome power.
We will be getting to the end of his story, the beginning of this one. As even though he has left us for now, his story still continues, and it is worth telling at least, so that the rest of the party is aware.
Sounds fair to me.
So the new one joining us, replacing the fighter mercenary, Zale Shadow, is a paladin. And I will let him introduce himself once he is brought into the game. Right now, that's what we have to look forward to in today's session. It's Dat Wolf. Woo woo. So I do apologize in advance if I cut out during the song. I do have prepared.
All right.
All right.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Razim, and this is Tales of Miraleth Dungeons and Dragons. I am going to turn it over to Ellernin. Or Ellermin. I'm not actually sure.
Ellerden.
Okay, so I
Element.
was right.
Oh, it is Ellerden. Oh, shush.
It's me.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
it's your turn. Go ahead and do a recap of last week.
Don't worry, Zim does this to everyone who wasn't here last week. See, it's his first day here, and you've already broken the poor boy.
And how am I supposed to make a recap of last week if I wasn't here?
Didn't you go watch the recording?
No.
Well, why not?
I don't have an answer for that. I wasn't aware there was a recording.
I mean, it was posted in Creator Chat. Or, sorry, Creator Corner.
I must have missed it then. I'm sorry.
I see. Well, you have
Too
failed
sorry.
us already. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Gold King now.
Yes, all right. Well, welcome everybody to Tales of Miraleth, the D&D stream that Zim has already mentioned. As the stream begins with me as the DM and as your host, I always invite you, the viewer, to join us in our world of D&D. And as such, if you choose to do so, you find yourself at a tavern. You come to this tavern, as many have before you, and as you may have or before or for the first time today, in search of Moriarty McCann, the Fox Bard who sings the tales of Miraleth and informs those who are interested enough of the story that these brave adventurers continue on with. Unfortunately today, when you go there, much like in a few previous weeks, he seems to be gone. This time, though, without a note or without an official leave, as he had done prior. When speaking to the bartender there, if you were to ask him about it, he doesn't seem to want to really speak about it. It seems as though something distasteful must have happened at some point. But nothing more is really mentioned beyond that. So the rest is left more or less to a mystery. You are, however, told that you saw him heading off to the capital, which in this land is known as Fortitude. As such, if you are so curious to continue to learn the story of the Tales of Miraleth, you would have to continue out on the road. Luckily for you, when traveling out upon the road, you do happen to meet some people who had seen him leaving, who are able to tell the next part of his story back to you, as they were able to get it from him when they saw him on the road. And so it proceeds. After the party had made their way out of the Manor of Estebar, they had found that the manor itself was no longer claimed or owned by anyone in particular. Though, as such, the town had offered it to the party, or to any individual in the party willing to take it up, as long as they could keep the curses at bay and whatnot, not knowing, of course, that the local manor had been cleaned of all curses. In fact, it had been so thoroughly cleaned via the magic of the wand once it was destroyed, Sidir would have noticed that her cursed shield of Bahamut had been cleansed. It seems as though any previously cursed items, or any previous curses, at least recently made previous curses of the seem to have more or less dissipated. Uh, as such, the party seems to be on a sort of high note. Zale Nightshadow, however, he had very quickly taken up the deed to the manor before really anyone else had a chance to, as he saw it as a proper position he could put himself in to have a place to stay, very nice house. He had plenty of gold left over from the expedition into the manor, and as such, he had decided to take the chance to settle down while the getting was good, which to many, depending on who you ask, might have been a wise decision. Of course, to many of the people of the town, they thought he was crazy, as living in an old cursed manor like that proved difficult. Again, they do not know that the curses have been lifted. And so far, no one has mentioned it. Now, the party would get a chance to take their rest after, of course, being at the manor for quite a bit of time, and both between the uses of spells and few mild points. The party would, of course, receive a full rest at the inn, where they would stay the night. As such, let me go ahead and make sure that that gets added to everyone. Whoop.
Combat has been initiated.
Yeah, nope.
There's mimics.
There you go. Everyone has received a long rest, and everyone should be at HP now. With that stated, on the following morning, when Zale is basically collecting himself and is more or less saying his goodbyes, you do notice that Moriarty McCann, the Fox Bard, actually makes his way into the tavern. Following him seems to be another fox of sorts, though this one is dressed in some rather heavier armor. And he approaches the party, stating that he was aware, via one mean or another, as this fox has proven to somehow know in the past, that Zale had been giving up adventuring for the time being. And as such, he had a nice little song for the parting of a friend. And with him, he'd brought a new as such, before anyone really had any sort of response to such, as McCann likes to do, not giving anyone really a word in edgewise, as the boastful bard he is, he already begins to pull out his and play the song for the memory of dear Zale in his time at the party. Okay. Thank you for that private message, Zim. I will keep that in mind. And if you would with the music, so that I can begin the little song of Moriarty the Fox Bard in dear memory of our friend Zale. Kind friends and companions, come join me in rhyme. Come lift up your voices in chorus with mine. Come lift up your voices, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again. So here's a health to the company, and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again. Our ship lies at anchor, she's ready to dock. I wish her safe landing without any shock. And if ever I should meet you by land or by sea, I will always remember your kindness to me. So here's a health to the company, and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let's drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may or may never all meet here again. And with the end of his song, the fox bard very quickly makes his way to the bar and offers everyone a drink. Zale does inform the party before he would take his things and make his way that the manner in which he's going to be taking place and will be open to them at any point should they need a place to stay or a place to hide for whatever reason. With that, though, Moriarty does gesture to the Paladin Fox so that he can introduce himself, stating that he felt he would be a good replacement for a lost comrade, as he too seeks a great quest.
Mm. The paladin precisely says he makes a bow as he speaks. Greetings, everybody there. I am Sir Element, the paladin. It is a pleasure to meet you all.
It is a pleasure to meet you too.
Hello there, Element. That's a
Sidier-
very unique name. Sounds like Element.
Sidier and
Are you
Elemen,
scared of lightning too?
Not really.
Okay, good.
both Sidier and Elemen, you both immediately recognize that the other one is bearing a symbol of Bahamut.
Oh my!
Praise be.
Praise be. You worship the Lord Dragon as well.
The one and only powerful deity.
It is a mm, it is an honor to meet you, brother,
Sister.
sister. My bad.
Likewise. We shall preach its name in good word.
The fox is still sitting at the bar, offering anyone free drinks should they choose to take it.
I will offer my new friend a drink.
And Element takes it with grace and a bow. Thank you.
Graham will take one of the drinks. And then hide it immediately from Risforn.
McCann just gives him a wink.
Crag grabs a drink and waves shyly to the new person.
Element waves back.
Well, anywho, McCann basically says as he finishes up, he leaves a bit of extra gold on the counter for either a tip or for anyone else to get any additional food or drink free if they want. Of course, you guys already get your food and drink for free, so if anything, it would be just a tip or possibly free gold if you would do that to the poor owners of this establishment. But then McCann more or less packs up his things almost immediately and says, I've got to get going. It was good to see you all, though. I thought I'd stop by on my little journey. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be in fortitude, he says. He makes his way out the door. A very quick and brief run by the bard.
Well, that
all
was
huge.
interesting.
Very nice fellow.
Indeed.
I don't know. He seems a bit fishy to me.
Yeah, I think he's a bit strange.
Who have we met who isn't strange?
Honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, I think that's pretty much a given for a lot of bards.
They
Ken
make
wants to
they
retort
make
to
great
this,
music.
but can't.
He's
Yes, he does.
definitely up to no good.
Of course.
Most indubitably.
Who has your allowed to your drinks and food, whatever you order, whatever you take before the day is through. You do recognize also a familiar face that never really left, but you do take note that the gnome is here, the magical merchant gnome.
Let's approach the gnome.
Oh, that's right. We found a bunch of gems for once.
I
You
wish to show him all my gems.
And in response, he would glance at them with a risen brow. He'd be like,
Oh.
"Well, you found some gems. Beautiful."
Oh yes. 25 small gems.
He gives a gesture with his hand. You're gonna have to come out to my cart then. He says as he more or less waddles his way out to the cart. That
Senior
is
will follow happily.
pulled by nothing. Just gets
I'm
up
gonna
in
call
there,
Element
opens-
along.
Element, do you follow Sidier to this wherever this little fellow is going? This little gnome.
Sure, why not? I'm curious to get to know you to know you people. So might as well.
This one has lots of good stuff.
As you follow along, you come into his cart, as stated before. He opens the two side panels. Rishforn, just to remind you as well, I believe you do have some gems likewise. If you have any interest, man.
Absolutely. He will go out and see what's available.
I
Sidier-
also go out.
Sidier, Rishforn, Zyre, and Elimin all go out to the cart, along with anyone else who may so choose to do so.
Craig follows.
Graham is sad because he didn't get any of the gems.
Now, you should have grabbed them while you had the chance, or you should have waited, as the room would have produced more, but nobody seemed to have deduced that. Oh well. As such, he starts pulling out a whole bunch of bits and doodads before kind of just pulling up sort of board that has items on shelves and various things hanging. He says, "This is today's section. Selection. Section of selection. Yes." And on it, you see there is a ring, a gourd, a bag, 3 flasks that seem to have a sort of black liquid inside of them, 3 more bags, but these bags have a fish on them, a wand, a crystal parrot, another bag that looks like a bite taken out of a piece of wood, another ring, a blade, a knife that has a tentacle coming out of it,
I want it.
a compass, and one of the things you recognize, the box that transforms into a boat when you use it. He still has it from when you traded him for the whistles that you have.
Is there anything significant about this tentacle blade?
It's a box that has a tentacle that comes out of it.
A tentacle box?
Yes. Basically, it's just a small wooden box with no discernible way to open it, but there's a hole in the top where a tentacle comes out. Sometimes it comes out holding a knife.
I want to buy it just for having it.
As you seem to eye the box where the tentacle comes out at random intervals, sometimes with a knife, the gnome seems to take a note of your gaze, and he nods once or twice, and he says, "That one's 2 gems."
What does it do?
He shrugs.
Do you know what the rings do?
Hold on.
I want this box.
What do the rings do? He says one is called the Ring of Remembrance, and the other one was given to him as a joke from another wizard. He doesn't really like the joke ring, so that one's 1 gem. But the other ring is 15 gems.
A magnanimous dispensation.
Magnanimous dispensation. What's that mean? Oh my, money!
That means a double donation goal increase, you know?
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for that, Nestle. You are awesome. Have a good night.
Anywho. Money. Anywho. So that you have the choice. Like I said, one of the rings is 15 gems, as stated, called the Ring of Remembrance, and the other one is a joke ring from another wizard.
Sidir will buy the box and give some the rest of the 23 gems to Emmeline.
Okay. As you take the box, nothing seems to happen for the moment. Where are you putting the box?
In my bag.
Okay. Noted.
Preferably where it's not going to cut everything.
Well, where's that going to be then?
Does he have any control over the tentacle?
He has no control over the tentacle.
Can I just, like, cover the hole?
What?
Can I just, like, cover the hole it comes out of?
You can try. I wasn't expecting anyone to buy this, but you bought it.
Can I wrap it up in chainmail and put it in my bag?
You can.
Okay.
And I think he's just staring at the box with the tentacle being bought, and he doesn't understand what is so funny about what's happening. He's just looking at the box blankly.
It's a tentacle that comes out of a single hole from a box that has no way to be opened. Sometimes
you-
with a knife.
Emmeline, you now have 23 gems to buy whatever you want.
Oh my, thank you.
Okay, so I am confused as to what all's here and what they all do.
Sidir's going to show
Yeah,
us for in her box.
That in part is the point, but I can list off everything that's here again, if you want.
Okay, yeah.
We have 2 rings, a gourd that's just kind of sitting there on the shelf, a single bag that doesn't really have any marking on it. We have, it might be better if I just type this stuff in action. It'll take a second to type up. I didn't actually think to actually type this stuff up, which would have been much better.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, it is. While I'm typing this stuff, please, by all means, have a conversation between yourselves.
What are you gonna get?
I'm not really planning to getting anything at the moment.
I'm gonna open up the bag and have a look inside.
Which bag?
The bag.
There's like 4.
Yeah, there's one bag that's unmarked, 3 bags that have a fish on it, 1 bag that looks like a bite taken out of a piece of wood.
Okay, the ones with the fish, are those all identical to each other?
Yes.
Okay, he's definitely going for one of those.
Okay, as you open it up, you find a white powder inside of it.
Are you trying to sell us cocaine?
He blinks at you a few times. Is it magical?
I don't know. What is it? You're the one selling this thing.
Oh, that's fish dust.
Does it
You
turn
pour
my
it in
enemy?
Sorry, you pour it in the water, and all the fish in the general area of the water die.
Oh.
They
That's
die.
horrific.
That is awful.
It makes fishing really easy for a wizard.
But that takes all the fun out of it.
Sire is very against the fish dust.
How much are these?
Those are 5 gems each.
Crag votes that we buy them and destroy them.
Does it kill other things than fish that live in water?
No, not really. No, just the fish. And it's only temporary. It's not permanent. Only for a few minutes.
How big of a fish will this work
what
on?
qualifies
Come back
as a
after a few minutes?
fish?
A fish is a creature that swims in the water.
Will this work on a plesiosaur?
Highly unlikely.
What about a kraken?
Even more unlikely.
Well, then what's the use?
It swims. A kraken swims in the water.
Kraken sounds like a fish by that definition.
The size also does somewhat matter. If you wanted to kill a kraken with this, you'd probably need several pounds of it.
You have to have
Okay.
pounds?
He's gonna
No.
push those back. Might accidentally push them off the counter. Depending on how
That's
big
what-
the counter is.
That is why it's in a bag. So
Yeah.
Check out the other bags.
What about the plain one?
well, that's a bag of beans.
Magic
Check them out.
beans?
Yeah.
I don't sell anything here that's not magic.
What do the beans do?
Magic things.
Yeah, I haven't actually planted them yet, so I don't know.
You have a whole bag of beans and you never had the curiosity to plant one?
I buy and sell magic wares. I don't use them myself.
Sire will buy
This Ford
the...
looks at the carts that don't have horses.
You don't.
Or even
You don't
hookups for
test.
horses or anything.
Wait, what? You're looking for the horses, or what? What are you doing?
He's pointedly looking at the wagon that has nowhere for horses to hook up at.
Yes.
Pointing out the fact he's using magic.
You look to where the horses aren't.
What's in the wood bag?
Give me 1 sec. I've almost actually finished. Well,
You
we
mentioned
go.
there was.
In the the bag that has a piece of wood taking a bite out of it, there is likewise a powder in it, but it's more of a orangey powder, and it almost smells like some sort of rare spice. It's got a very strong, sharp scent to it.
Can I have Craig look at it?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Do you just hand them to Crag?
Craig, you see and smell the same thing. It's an orange powder that smells like a type of spice. Exotic
Can
spice.
I nature it to see if I remember what kind of spice it is? Or no?
I mean, you could try.
Laughs
na-
internally because there's two people who are good with magic and no one's asking them.
Oh, by the way, Graham, you made a bunch of skill arcana proficiency checks. What the heck was Oh, identified the stuff in your inventory. Gotcha.
Crag pinches it and smells it to see if he can figure out if he remembers it.
You have no idea what it is.
Sire will buy the one juke ring for 1 gem.
Zaire, you don't actually have any gems on you.
Yes, I do. I got a purple one a while ago before the manor.
Oh yeah, you did.
Is that one a bit bigger than ours?
It is. It's actually let me take a look at the one that you have.
I think ours are really small.
Yeah, you have a bunch of small basic ones. What I don't see it in your inventory. Oh, you put it under treasure, right? Right, that was the purple gem that you got from butchers, right? The cart man, the gnome, he informs you that that one is worth at least 10 of his like the gems that they're giving him. That one's worth at least 10.
Oh.
So he can like quote unquote break it for you. Like he'll take that gem and give you back 9 if you want.
Sure. Yeah, right. I want to. I just want that ring.
Okay. You get the joke ring as he had described it.
I will put that on right away.
Okay, you place on the joke ring. You don't really feel any different.
Meanwhile, while everybody's looking at the other wares, Element is looking at that curved sword that you mentioned before.
Cursed per se, but yes.
That curved.
Oh, curved, yes. Yes. Nice blade.
Yeah, curved.
Once was owned by a dashing swashbuckler who, I suppose, gave up that life or something. I don't know the story.
I see. How much is it for that blade?
This blade here is worth 10 of your gems.
Element simply closes his eyes and rubs his chin as if he's thinking about it.
Right, well, in the meantime, between the entire party, you have 62 gems. So, Cydia, I need to add the building skill to you.
Crag is sad because he has no gem.
I need to be added what?
Graham, while studying the scrolls, walks over to Crag and is sad with him.
I mean, you can try to convince Risforn, Elemin, or Zaire to buy something for you.
Graham doesn't actually want anything. He's just said that he doesn't have the option to. He feels left out.
I just noticed in chat I put a crystalline parrot when I was trying to write crystalline. Okay, so 5 things. Graham. Which things, Graham, did you need unhidden from your inventory?
Well, I know one of the scrolls I didn't identify because I rolled a 5 on it, but
Right.
but given the amount of time that would have passed, Graham would have attuned done the attuning thing for the ring, so he would have that, and then whatever scrolls he would have been able to decipher.
Why do you have a foxtail?
That's a trinket he has from his background.
Oh, okay, cool. Sure. The signet ring, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
The signet ring issuing a foxtail?
No. Those are 2 completely unrelated items. But good thinking. I'll have to write that one down. Alright, so those items are unhidden from you. And, does anyone have any other questions about any of the items that are currently placed up for sale? The interesting oddities all about.
When do you get new stuff?
Every now and then. Generally after I go out on a little adventure of my own.
Oh.
More often than not, I find these items from dungeons after parties have headed through them. They tend to leave behind quite a bit of things. You'd be surprised.
What is that?
And he also pulls out that big old gem stone type deal that you recognize as the directional stone from the teleporter that sent you here. Oh, by the way, I also have this. Thought you might need it. 50 gems.
You
It's a
couldn't
big
have
one.
showed us that earlier?
I forgot about it temporarily. But you have bought some wares, so I happen to conveniently remember. You also have plenty between the lot of you. That one has 9. He says, pointing to Zyre.
I'm actually curious. What is going on with a crystalline parrot?
The parrot made of crystals kind of tilts its head to one side and gives a sort of weird, broken, squeaking squawk.
I want to
Ah,
hear
yes.
it.
This is a crystalline parrot. You put it in a room, and for a day, it watches over the room. It alerts you. Anyone you don't want in there is in there.
Can someone buy me the parrot?
It's also 50 gems.
I'll give gold for the parrot.
I don't take gold.
What happens after that one day, though?
Oh, after the one day, then it simply needs to sleep for a day. And then you can let it watch over again. It doesn't, die. It's made out of crystal.
That's actually pretty cool. How many gems do I have again?
I gave you 23.
Yes.
23.
Ristforn, I believe, has 25, and Zyre has...
For gems,
Anyone-
I've got 30.
Oh, you have 30. Well, that's more than I thought, but...
Anyone want to combine to buy the crystal parrot? That thing looks pretty useful.
Have it as a party item.
Can also sit on your shoulder and make you look like a pirate. A very fancy pirate. Every pirate will be jealous of you.
I mean, I kind of have that as a spell already. But it's a cool item.
Indeed. I can't buy it by myself, though. Oh well, mayhaps another time.
Graham
'cause
is
I-
giving 2 scrolls over to Wrist to note.
Well, my spell just.
How do I do that?
I would just move it from your inventory. Also, you identified 2 of them.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Graham is keeping one of them.
right. You rolled actually. Okay, those were okay. I'm sorry. I actually didn't reveal one of those. My apologies. There you go. I thought
Can
one
I?
of those were. There's still 1 scroll. Of course, you didn't make.
Okay. Do.
Someone was asking if they could do something.
Can I show Greaves a decanter of enchanted pain?
The what?
Yeah, I brought a decanter from the manor.
Oh, right. What did this thing do?
I don't know. I just have it listed as enchanted pain.
What? Okay. I'll need to go back to my previous notes to see what that was.
Alright. Alright, Zim, I put the scrolls in the party sheet for you. If Rispborn takes the scrolls, that is.
Restore?
They'll always take them.
Alright. So, Restore, you have new scrolls. They look beautiful. You must keep them safe so that they don't get destroyed before you can use them. Nonetheless, a decanter of enchanted pain.
I sent you the info on it.
I don't know what that is. I'm surprised I don't know what that is, because that sounds incredibly specific as well. Oh, this.
I grabbed whatever that was back then.
Okay. It's a good thing I sent it to you. Okay. So it's that. Gotcha. So he looks at it, and gives a nod, then looks to you, and he's like, "Are you selling this?"
Yes.
He gives another nod and says, 15 gems.
I'll accept that deal.
He takes it from you. It goes onto the shelf where the joke ring used to be. And he slides you back 15 gems of the smaller variety that you were using.
I'd like to hand these 15 gems to Zyre.
Desire, you may add 15 gems to your inventory. Desire? Oh no. They lost connection.
Oh,
Oh no.
The storms are coming. It's a coming for all of us.
Can you
It's
still
back
hear
now.
me? Okay.
Yes. Yes, I can. Hello? We can hear you. No!
She's gone again.
Gosh
Or
dang it.
the bat is gone.
Them.
Something.
Thou.
well, they got 15 gems now.
Yep, yeah, they do. Can I actually add that? Yeah. 9 4, so that makes 24. That's 14, 24. Okay, also, Elemen, I'm looking at the treasure now, and you were actually doing it right before.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you do put GP to the right of the box, and only numbers can go on the box. I thought it was the other way
Oh.
around for some reason. Just forget about it. Forget about
Can someone send us like 300 feet of Ethernet cable?
You should be able to get that at your local Home Depot.
That's a lot of feet.
It is. You'd be surprised.
I am poor and homeless.
That's fair. Where do you live?
I can message you.
It's on that stuff Express. Wait, can you like legit use 300 feet of Ethernet cable?
The router is on the next floor up, and like through a different room
What kind do
than
you
we
need?
are in right now.
You probably don't need.
I have
300
no
feet,
idea.
but 300 feet is always a safe. Anyways,
Yeah, you need a Cat 6.
I don't know. It's a really crappy router. It's a sad router.
understood. Well, I'll try and hold up for Zara to get back. Does anyone else want to know what anything here is, or if they want to buy anything?
I think my curiosity is content with a tentacle box.
Every now and again, you can feel it shuffle around inside the chainmail you've wrapped it in. The metal clicking every now and then as it tries to stab out of the chainmail.
Which did not very
I'm
effective.
back.
Element is simply staring at the crystal parrot, a bit sad that he actually can't buy by himself.
As Zyre's interested in the curved blade as well.
The curved blade, as stated, was previously owned by Swashbuckler and is only 10 gems. Do keep in mind, if you buy one of these things, you might not be able to afford the 50 gem crystal parrot or the 50 gem focusing stone needed to teleport back to the main mercenary company that you were here with, as well as the main spire.
Craig holds out a potion of dark vision and asks him what he wants for that, or if he wants it.
He glances it over, nods his head back and forth, and he says, 5 gems.
He hands it over for 5 gems.
What did you give?
What was it?
What did you give them?
The potion of dark vision.
Uh,
Now removing from his inventory. Goodbye, potion of dark vision. You now have 5 gems, Greg.
Do the gems weigh anything?
What?
Should I put a weight down for the gems?
A prudent
Nah,
choice.
not really. It's about like the same weight as like a gold coin almost, if not less. And you don't really even take account of that, so.
He holds up a dire wolf fang and see if he wants that.
Is it magical?
Craig shrugs.
He looks it over. Me asking is the GM, is it magical?
I think I just pulled it out of a dire wolf.
Yeah, then nah, he doesn't.
Craig looks disappointed and sad about the parrot as well.
You do still have your boon whistles and your daggers. Oh, you have
like my dagger.
you specifically have a dagger. I know, but you could have a crystalline parrot.
Could I trade the boon whistle for a crystalline parrot?
Give me a persuasion.
This is gonna be sad.
Unfortunately,
He cut out for me.
Unfortunately, he will not take that. But if you can give him that and 25 gems, he will go ahead and he'll make that trade.
Craig offers gold to anyone with 25 gems.
Is this to
Graham
get?
would like to.
Or offers co-ownership of the parrot for $25.
Graham would like to try to help. Would like to be. Would like to try to help Crag with persuading
Greaves.
Greaves to
Okay.
to take it for just the whistle.
Give me your argument followed by the roll. Like, give me an actual like what he says followed by the roll. 'Cause that'll definitely affect you here.
You know, these whistles. Well, they I've seen this thing summon a magical. Seen one of these things summon a magical flying rabbit. You can't tell me that it's only worth 25 gold.
Of course, it's not worth
Considering
25 gold.
considering
It's worth 25
considering
gems.
Well, yes, I'm okay. 25 gems. You can't tell me it's only worth that much, considering the great potential that this thing might have.
Well, yes, but I gave you them for free. He tilts his head from one side to another, almost rolling his eyes. Okay, 15 gems and the whistle.
Crag offers up 5 and begs his party for another 10.
You're going to buy the
Probably
parrot?
half nullish.
You're going to be buying the parrot?
Yeah, parrot.
I can give you 10 gems.
Sweet. Can we have co-ownership over the parrot?
You may have ownership over the parrot, but only one person can have it in their inventory at a time, of course.
Would you mind if I carry it on my shoulder?
Go right ahead.
Sweet.
Now, if I recall correctly, the spell in question is Alarm, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have alarm.
I'll just put it down as Crystal Parrot of Alarm.
Woo! It honestly would probably be more useful for the paladin to carry it around, now that I'm thinking about it. Crag takes the parrot and walks over to the paladin.
The parrot points at himself. You wanna give me the parrot?
Do you have an alarm spell?
I do not.
Alright, I think you should have it then.
I am no sorcerer. Ah, many thanks. I'll cherish it.
Wait, did you give it to Element?
Yeah, I decided that. I have no idea how to do that though.
I'll just go ahead and use it.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. I can do that. I can take care of that.
Alright, I think I got my Wi-Fi antenna in a place where I can actually have a consistent connection. I should be back now.
Can I get the parrot
It's
a
like
name?
an old TV.
So we'll remove your gems. 13 gems look to be about right, Element. And also remove your whistle. There's the whistle. Goodbye, whistle.
Can I get the parrot a name?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
What are you naming it?
I'm gonna be thinking about it for a little bit.
Kai is definitely very intrigued by the shiny parrot.
It is, in fact, a very shiny parrot. But that leaves quite a few items, some of which you can't afford, though it seems he's open to trade. There's still the gourd, the bag of beans, the essence of darkness that just basically is black liquid in a bottle. The fish dust that you guys seem to be ethically against. The wand that is literally marked as my first wand. The powder with wood bitten out of it that you still haven't actually really identified or asked about. The other ring that was for 15 gems. The blade, the compass, and your boat box.
The box boat.
Element isn't really interested in anything else after he got the parrot.
Okay. Anyone else interested in anything?
Zyra will buy the sword.
Okay. Zyre is purchasing the sword, but does anything else?
Crag asked him if he knows what the Staff of Bear does.
He looks down at the Staff of Bear, takes him about a moment, and he just nods. It summons bears.
Are they friendly bears? Do they try to eat everything that's around?
Crag
shrugs.
smiles and puts the staff back on his back.
He shrugs. It summons a bear at a time. It'll summon a bear. He just nods.
Crag is very happy now.
Anywho. So Zaya, you're purchasing the rapier.
Yep.
Well, it's not really rapier, it's curved sword.
Scimitar.
Yeah, that's not quite. It's more like one of those curved blades that pirates use. I forget what it's called.
Cutlass.
Cutlass, that's it. Right, so you purchase the cutlass, and it's given to you. And he informs you that you must attune to it before it has any effect.
The internet's out again.
Gosh dang it.
We're functioning off of a crappy antenna right now that we have to fiddle with like an old TV.
How does that work?
It's like 2 antennas.
Well, no, I know, but like, how does the internet function off of that?
I don't know.
Science, man.
That's
It's,
some Greaves magic there.
it's supposed to talk to the router, but it's not happy about it right now.
Gotcha. Well, we'll do our best to try and keep you in the loop. In the meantime, though, no one else is interested in anything else that's being sold here.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. You don't want to further investigate the bag of powder that smells like spice? That you kind of just handed to Craig and you didn't know anything about it? Did you? Okay.
Does
Okay.
Zyre know anything about it? Zyre has more nature knowledge than I do.
You would, Zyre would know. I'll just tell you right now. Well, I mean, it smells like a spice. It's magic. Everything he owns is magic.
So why hand it to the ranger?
That's why Graham doesn't look at Greaves' cart with his arcane eyes, because he would go blind.
He actually would go blind. Yes, everything about this card is magic.
It's Greaves
Yeah,
magic.
I think the first time Graham looked at the cart, his reaction was just, ah, my eyes.
I think no, I'm pretty sure you cast the magic thing, but like you could tell that there was some magic going on there. So you kind of like, I think what you did was you were like behind a tree, or you actually covered your eyes beforehand, and you were just like, oh yeah, that's bright. I'm not even looking at it. If I can recall correctly, I don't know. Someone get a clip of that back from our Tales of Miraleth stream.
Did we?
Anywho. Well, with that said, if no one else wants to partake of the traveling gnome merchant, he would nod to everyone and begin to pick things up. Last call. Because you do still have some gems left, and he does still have some good things left that you can afford.
Would you take a normal dagger?
No.
Oh.
It's
Crag
not
wanders
magic,
off.
man.
Crag wanders off to try to sell his normal dagger.
Okay.
Speaking of which, is there a blacksmith in the place that we're at?
No, this is a small farming town. In fact, Craig, go ahead and give me an investigation. Sorry, was just linking someone to the stream.
Most villages and towns would have a blacksmith. As far as them
Most of
being
them.
able to do weapons and such is another matter, but you know, farming tools need to be repaired and replaced. So if it's a farming community, they would definitely have a blacksmith.
They tend to go into town for that, actually. But
Aren't
Craig,
we
you
in
are
town?
not really. No, this is barely considered a village, if that. There's a tavern and a few houses scattered around, and you see plenty of fields and a windmill. But this can barely qualify as a town. More of a stop along the way between towns. If this was a town, it would basically be a ghost town, if that.
But farmers can still use daggers, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. And Craig, you are able to find someone who seems to have worn through one of his previous knives and is willing to buy the dagger off you for 3 GP.
Works for me.
Alright, you can remove your old dagger and add 3 gold pieces to your inventory. Or I can do that. Whichever works for you.
I got it. Crag is a rich knoll now.
But with that said,
And that guy paid you like so much money for that.
I mean, they normally sell for like 5.
That is incorrect.
Oh well. Oh well.
They sell for 2.
Crag used his scary knoll face to convince them to pay him extra.
You also are a hero in this area, so we'll chalk it up to that.
That's right.
I mean, there's also the fact that farmers wouldn't even have that much. They'd be lucky to have silver, let alone gold.
It depends on the farmer. Like, the head farmer would probably have a decent amount.
It also depends on how much you're farming and where you're farming for. As this farm is literally like just miles from the capital.
Doesn't look like there's much farmland anyway, so it's probably supply and demand on it.
There actually is that too, given the recent crisis of the dark. A lot of farming land has become scarce. So honestly, there are a few reasons why farmers here actually do have gold.
The recent crisis of the dark? What is that about?
Oh yeah, by the way, just so you're caught up on things, you would recognize that a few weeks ago, the sun just got just entirely blotted out by darkness.
I don't know what you're talking about.
not used to the element. A few weeks ago, the sun was just blotted out by darkness and was later pierced by a blinding light. You have no idea what that was about, but everyone saw that. Except Sidier. Sidier has no recollection for whatever reason. Who knows?
That
But
must have been
anyway.
amazing.
Anyways, there does seem to be this sort of lingering threat of the dark that people occasionally would mention in your, though you've never actually seen it yourself. Besides, nighttime darkness, but it's not as people would describe it, where the darkness would attack you. Anyway,
Fair enough.
with that being all said and set, though, and with the last bearing being given from the ghost of Astabar to seek out the bloodline of champions in the capital city of Fortitude, the party would have its bearings, and if it was all set, checking in, of course, with the main party head, City and Ristforn, are you ready to set off?
Correct.
Yes.
Ristforn, are you there? I see a little clock by your head. I don't know if it means AFK. Oh, yeah, he has gone AFK. Okay. Well, that's great. We'll just wait momentarily for him to get back. Feel free to continuously have any interactions you want until Ristforn gets back. I suppose the shop can stay open a few seconds longer if any of you want to question any of the other items that are simply there.
Crag wants to know if the staff of bears can be used more than once, or if he knows that.
He believes as though it can be, but doesn't believe it's necessarily a wise idea.
Crag is still pleased with his loot.
Element is simply scratching the parrot's chin to see how it will react, if it reacts like a regular parrot or not.
Luckily, it does seem to react somewhat like a normal parrot, as it kind of tilts its head back a little bit to allow you to scratch, and some sort of thinner layers of crystals softly fold out, quote unquote feathers ruffle.
Ruffled a
Aw.
feather.
Crag wanders up and sniffs the parrot, very intrigued, and loses interest when it.
It smells like
Crystal?
Yeah.
She loses interest when it stops smelling like a bird.
Where are we heading?
you. Well, you've been told the best place to look from the Spirit of Astabar is the capital city of Fortitude. You still have your map, if you recall. If you need, I can share it with. In fact, it's probably best so that Element can see where the heck he is.
We're heading to Starfall?
No, Fortitude.
Oh. To the southeast.
That's where the supposed capital.
You can just follow the river there.
Graham, if only we had the boat still.
Yeah, there is a clear river of sorts that is straight to Fortitude, and
Which way does this freaky four-way river flow?
There's well, you wouldn't know because from where you are, it is flowing to the southwest from where you're at.
Okay, so it's not doing anything weird. It's flowing towards the ocean.
Yes, though that could change because as you see, there's one that kind of just goes and stops at Bellingham, and the other one just kind of goes and stops at Fortitude. You don't really see, can't really see past that main course emblem, but it doesn't look like it goes any further than.
Which one of these locations is Fortitude?
The one that says Fortitude.
It's at the very bottom of the map.
Oh, okay, that's why I couldn't see it. It was slightly cut off.
Right. So just so you're aware, to move your image around, there's a little yellow box in the bottom right.
Or you can hold down middle mouse button.
What?
Yep.
Oh
Yeah,
my
just
god! That would have made things so much easier.
I didn't even know you could use the yellow thing for movement.
But yeah, between the fact that there's like literally only 3 or 4 quote-unquote towns here, and all that blackness you see, it's not farmable land. The farmers here are pretty set up.
Well, that and the farmers themselves are usually rich. It's the workers that aren't.
Yes, that is. The landlords versus the serfs that tend to...
We're in Betnid. We're near Betnidland, right?
You're in Benton Land. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
That is where you are right. It's
That
that
is-
little. It's the dot next to the, of course, name Benton Land. The bushel of grain that you see.
Yes.
How far of a travel is it to Fortitude?
It's about a day or two's travel.
We can't buy that box. We can't buy that box that turns into a boat anymore, can we?
No, you probably can. If I recall correctly, that one was pretty cheap.
Really?
That one's 10 gems.
Oh, I can actually buy that myself. We don't have a we don't have a boat, do we?
Nope.
Well, I buy it. We're gonna need it if we're going down river.
Boats tend to be pretty heavy.
Well, it's the boat that transforms into a like 5-pound box.
Yep.
So like you just transform it from the box to the boat to box.
It's a great box.
Yeah, it's a transportable boat. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a portable boat.
It was the first donation goal we had met, and it's still in the game. It's still here.
I want it.
All right. Then simply subtract 10 gems from your inventory, and I'll add that to your inventory. Be down to 3 gems.
3 gems and
Too bad we can't use that teleporter to see how those survivors of our mercenary group are doing.
Sorry, what?
Graham was just mentioning he was just wondering what the mercenary people who are in that tower were up to.
Good question. Not one with an answer. You'll have to figure out some way either to get back there or to get in contact with them. You could have bought, the giant gem that you could use to teleport back there at the usage of some spell slots. You didn't. Such is your choice. By the way, Zyre, you need to inform me when you're attuned to that blade. Which you could, I believe attunement takes like, what, a day?
I think it's an hour
Oh.
of like just focusing on like that and like nothing else.
She could plausibly do that.
say, is there any way to minimize the map, or should I just exit it out?
You just exit it out.
Okay.
If you want to bring it up again, just go to images and maps.
What is Zin doing that's keeping him AFK this long? Well, I don't know, but we've got only so much time, and we got our donation goal, which we have to meet. So the party proceeds to use the newly found boat to transport a lot of them down the river. As they do make their way to the 4-way intersection, they find that there's some large gates in the water. It seems to function as though it's a canal.
Oh.
As such, it takes a simple, wave to some people who seem to be manning the large wooden stone mechanism to open the gates, shift the water, and send them on their way straight for Fortitude. It takes a bit faster, given that they're being pushed downstream via their boat, at least for a little while, as since this is a canal, it does sort of cut off. After a little bit, they have to start rowing or walking, whichever they find to personally be faster. But they make it to Fortitude by the dusk day.
So we really cut down the travel time by taking the river.
You did, yes.
You're welcome.
From morning to dusk, it was probably about a 12-ish hour trip.
Not bad.
So would I have been able to the attunement in that time, just focusing?
I believe so, yes.
Sweet.
And as such, once you're attuned to it, your face feels a little bit itchy, but you don't really notice it. Everyone else notices that Zyre has grown a mustache and goatee.
He already had a goatee. Is it
More of a
longer?
goatee. Yeah, it's like it looks like he looks like someone from like the Three Musketeers. Like,
Wow.
this guy is straight up a swashbuckler.
Crag stares at him for a bit and then giggles.
What?
Graham is just trying and failing to hold in his laugh.
And
Crag
this
says-
isn't like a little small like two sides of the lip mustache. This thing like goes out and it curls.
Crag
In only
giggles
12
again and
hours?
Crag giggles again and says, "You've become a man."
It's not even in 12 hours. It's the moment that Zyre got attuned to it. It just kind of
it just kind of burst forth from his face.
it was less of a burst and more of just a grew within 5 seconds, probably. Just shifted out of his face.
How peculiar.
Occur indeed.
We're now attuned to the swashbuckler's cutlass. Congratulations.
Da, 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 da.
That's all it does. Uh,
That's all the sword does.
that's all it does.
What did it do?
It gave him facial hair.
Oh.
Yeah, bought a
What's
magic
its
sword.
damage stat?
It's a basic cutlass, so I think it would probably just be 1d8.
Well, that's better than my. It's better than my scimitar, at least.
Let me take a look what weapons do damage. I'll need to actually look at the items, which
Who has a sword?
weapons. That would be Zyre. So Zyre, you get. Oh, there's a lot of weapons.
Boosting charisma.
No, they don't even. It's literally just facial hair. But
It should boost charisma.
yeah, no, this would basically count as a long sword, so it would be 1d8 slashing damage. At least I'm going to count as a long sword. I'm not going to look through all the weapons to see if there's something that fits a cutlass. It's a long sword. Anyways, you find your way coming up the river to the large white city walls of Fortitude, and there's actually a bit of a sort of dock that sort of stops right before the city walls. For people who seem to have traveled down the river, there seems to be a sort of ferry as well, And by ferry, I mean just a much larger boat made for a few soldiers to row, but otherwise it just seems to be a large vessel for transportation up and down this canal. As you make your way to the dock and get out, someone begins coming to you, seeming to inform you that you cannot dock there, but after a moment you simply fold up the box into a small, the boat into a small box, and they just give you an odd glance, but shake their head and throw their hands up and basically say, okay, fine, whatever. And-
Graham kind of chuckles,
And
mostly
so-
because he has no respect for the laws of society.
Until you find yourself at the massive city wall Fortitude, behind which you can see large spires, various structures, simply towering high above. The city
Take
has
forever to find them.
the city has most certainly been here for a good long time, and it seems to be mile long. It's simply huge. The gate that you are closest to, of course, has traffic moving in and out of people moving some carts and whatnot. Some of them immediately make way to the dock to start paying the individual there to get on the ferry. Others seem to start taking the dirt path that runs more or less right alongside the river. It seems from what you can see and from just the general air around you, more or less just constant clatter and activity, that this is a very, very populated place. You're going to want to stick together if you do not get lost.
Graham will lean over to City Air and be like, if it's at all possible, I would like to stop by a blacksmith and see if I can't get like a breastplate, because he looks over at Crag and looks back at City Air, because those Knoll butchers that we chased off, they kind of hurt me bad, so I think I might need a little bit more protection if at all possible.
Of course you can go check out a blacksmith.
Crag is oblivious to the reference to him.
That's why Graham was whispering, because he didn't want to offend Crag because he's a Knoll.
Crag is a very bad Knoll.
Right, well, do you proceed inside the large city of Fortitude?
We've got nowhere else to go.
Fair enough. As the party proceeds forward, you find the streets shuffling and bustling, though you are obviously in a more poor district of town. Even in this sort of more, slightly, I wouldn't say desolate, decrepit, I suppose, part of this massive city that
So we're in the slums of the city.
not quite. If I could pull a sort of real world comparison.
I said slums, not shantytown.
It's not a shanty town either. It's more like if you've ever been to like a Middle Eastern country and you're at a market there. There's just tons of people everywhere, and nothing really seems to have the greatest infrastructure, but at the same time, a lot of things are still going on. There's still a lot of business to be had. There's some nice buildings and things here and there, clearly owned by some wealthier individuals who've opened shop in town, but otherwise, this part of town it's got less polish to it. And there are just a lot of people here. Looks like Crag. Are we missing someone? No, I'm just paranoid because Zale's gone. Rip.
I think Fantasy Grounds crashed from my end. 1 second.
Yes, it did. Because you disconnected.
Sorry.
I just said that. But anyways. You can continue to listen as you probably won't be missing that much. The party continues forward, more or less having to shuffle through the crowds and move at a somewhat slow pace. Though, as many of you may take note, as I sort of alluded to in that previous description, you are in a marketplace, and there are many, many, many stores around selling all sorts of wares from cheap, cheap necessary tool-like goods to uh, probably anything. You can barely see through the crowds, but there you can tell there's a whole bunch of market stalls and stores just lining the building. Although, as stated before, not as much polish to them, seem a little more run down, probably from all the use. You do have a feeling that there's probably something of worth here that could be good to purchase in case you need to get more wares, or in Graham's case, a chess piece.
Might be a good start to do some shopping again.
It is a chance to restock on anything you might need or want. And likewise, this has a chance to give you an actually good item for gold now instead of gems.
Crag looks around to see if he can find a better bow or at least some arrows.
Can we convert our gold into gems?
It's very possible you could buy gems here as well. Crag, you rather easily find a hunting shop, as you are almost drawn to it. Though the question is, are you going with everyone else, or are you going off on your own?
I think Crag is too easily distracted to think about staying with everyone else.
You do
And
have to
they're gone.
kind of keep. You do have the one boon to yourself, and that is Kai, who kind of stands out in the crowd and who people quickly make way for.
Zyre will probably follow Crag and Kai because he likes that people are avoiding the bear.
People are smart, surprising. As such, you are able to find yourself to a weapons shop. Well, mainly a hunting shop, but there are other weapons there as well, like daggers. But just basic supplies. But you can go ahead and
Crag
you can check to
inspects
see.
their bow and arrow selection.
Let me take a look at what they've got. He's got light crossbows, heavy crossbows, darts, slings, as well as those are the basic weapons he has. He's also got some martial range weapons. Get to them. There they are. He does also have blowguns, hand crossbows, some long bows, a net, and that's about it for a net. The last item he had was a net, but that's more for fishermen. That's it. That's all he really has in the category of ranged weaponry.
I need to think about things. So if someone else wants to look at stuff while I'm thinking.
Right, Graham and Sidier. I actually need you to give me an investigation.
All right.
The only reason Craig found his store so easily is because he's a hunter. So
That's intimidation.
Well, people are intimidated by you. You are Dragonborn after all.
I am a giant dragonborn wearing full plate armor, so yeah.
People move a little bit out of your way, allowing you guys to save some.
Giant shield and mace. I don't see why people stand in the way.
Graham, you can roll investigation as well if you to be on the lookout for things.
Graham would probably just be more trying to listen for the sound of like the like of metal being hammered.
Well, you have advantage on hearing checks, so
Yep.
you can go ahead and roll an advantage then if you're specifically listening for the sounds of a blacksmith shop. Natural 20. So Graham, you easily find the blacksmith via kind of tilting your ears back and forth. You do also take note of something else while you're listening in closely. There's someone here who reads fates in a sort of mystic tent of sorts. You don't know why that's alluring. You find it to be just a bit as you hear someone's fate being told. It seems
Graham will go over there and check that out. As that kind of like
you're checking that out before going to the blacksmith, which you also very easily found.
yeah. He knows where the blacksmith is at, so.
Okay. Do you go over there alone, or do you get the rest of the party to try and follow you to this? Little...
I think City Air's with him, and everyone else kind of went off on their own. So he'll kind of like wave at City Air. Hey, you want to go check out what's going on over there? Sounds interesting.
Of course.
Risthorn's gonna go look for a inn where we can all
I'm gonna
stay.
need you to roll me an investigation roll. Likewise.
He's just gonna go up and ask one of the guards on the streets.
Right. Then you need to roll me investigation to find a guard. That
Don't
luckily though
do
is a
this.
much lower. It's a lower DC. Don't worry.
We've had DMs that do this annoying crap before.
I don't see why it's annoying. You're in a huge crowd of people right
I think he's saying because he's gonna just keep looking until he finds one, so you might as well just kind of skip the roll.
There, have it.
Fair enough. You do easily find a guard nearly instantly. They tend to wear full plate metal, so they do tend to stand out of the crowd just a bit more. The only reason it would be honestly hard to see them is because of general size. Regardless, you very easily find him, and he very easily directs you to one of the local pubs. Do you try to stick with the party, or do you just head straight for the pub? Risthorn?
He will drag the party. It is good
Where?
to make sure that we have rooms before we go off doing things. So we have a
Graham's
place to go meet up.
Risthorn actually takes an intelligent approach to things, while Graham is trying to pull the party towards a mystic little... How does Sidier and Elemen respond to this?
Well,
Craig
Graham
and Zaya
Graham
have
only
already
doesn't
gone off on
care
their own.
because half the party already separated from the group, so.
I mean,
He's like,
Craig the Hunter, they can
okay.
find us again, no problem.
Most likely. But,
Graham will sigh and be like, "Okay, we can go to the inn first."
Graham does something intelligent. Mark that down.
That's one
Just
intelligence.
He does intelligent things.
Occasionally. With Risthorn, the party continues to the inn to solidify a meeting point and to sort of gather together. You would take note that at this inn, you see a familiar face. It's your good friend, the bard, the fox bard that you just can't get rid of. But luckily enough, he does seem to be rubbing shoulders with a few other people, so he doesn't seem to have noticed you all yet.
We're gonna leave and find a different inn.
Graham is wholeheartedly on board with that because the weird fox just kind of just seems way too off to him.
I mean, in a capital like this, they've got to have at least 24 inns.
Oh, they most likely do, yeah. And you can, of course, find another one fairly easily. It's a few blocks away, a bit of a walk away, but you do find it.
If you tell me Moriarty's in this, 1, 2.
Pardon?
I said if you tell us Moriarty's in this tavern too somehow.
You keep cutting out.
I don't
It's
know
not
why.
cutting out for the rest of us, or at least not me.
Everyone's cutting out.
I think that's on your end.
No, I have perfect connection right now, but I will disconnect.
I'm getting a
and
little bit of
reconnect
cutting
in
out
case.
too.
I'm just gonna disconnect and reconnect just in case. Usually that fixes.
All right, so I was saying if you tell us Moriarty's in this inn suddenly, Graham's going to freak out.
No, he's not in this inn. Though, of the few and far between faces that you do notice at this inn, you do notice. Okay. Oh no, don't. Okay. Sorry, just checking if. Ah, chilly. Gotcha. Are you looking at arrows there, Chili? What did you just send me? What do you question?
I was going to restock on arrows because I've actually been keeping track of them.
Ah, okay. Let me take a look at what you sent me.
And I accidentally highlighted silver instead of the other one. I'll probably just go with normal arrows for now, though.
You would find that they actually do have the hammer variant.
Okay. So normal and hammer, or just hammer?
Normal hammer. They do have silvered as well, but that you have no reason to have silver.
Yeah, he has no interest in that. That was a mistake. Alright.
And there's only like 5 of the silvered ones. It's their specials, you know. Whenever a werewolf hunter comes to town, we just gotta have supply.
Alright, he buys a pack of hammer heads and a pack of normal.
Subtract the gold per, the amount that you are buying.
Alright. Thank you.
Anyhow, the rest of the party, as you come to the new tavern, you barely take note of many folks here. Though you do notice one individual who kind of almost sticks out of the crowd, though not in a necessarily pleasant sense. It's a rather large, very, very, very fat dragonborn who almost takes up an entire booth in and of his own right. Outside of that, though, you don't really see anyone who really sticks out of the crowd, just general people going about their business. But you've never really seen anyone this large. It's fascinating.
And it's not like muscle. He's just
No,
fat.
he's just like, this is one of those people where you're like, how does he put pants on? How does he walk? Does he walk? Does he just live in that spot? His stomach.
Graham will be looking back and forth between City Air and the fat dragonborn and be like, something seems wrong here.
He's literally leaning back in the booth, and his stomach is still kind of like pushing up against that edge of the table.
He's leaning
and
back
arms-
on the booth. Do I hear do I hear the wood creaking under his weight?
He's already kind of settled in that position, so no. But you feel as though if he would move, the wood would creak. Yes.
So you're just gonna just feel very shameful of this.
He of course does have a bountiful amount of food and drink before him that he's going at like no one's business. But
Seems
aside from
rich.
that,
Is that normal for Dragonborns? Because it just something feels very off about it.
you don't think that's normal for anything or anyone.
It is not normal. No.
This is borderline an abomination, especially in this day and age.
How long would it take Crag to find the party with his bear assistants?
That'd probably just be an investigation check. Since you do have hunters, instincts and whatnot, you would get a bit of a advantage on that. Oh, yeah, no, you follow the path fairly easily. You are the expert hunter and tracker, so you were almost able to subconsciously keep track of where they probably were in the crowd before they went out of sight, and even then, following the trail more or less wasn't surprisingly that hard, even in a crowd of people like this.
Graham is probably really easy to sniff out, being probably the only rabbit within.
I smell food. All of that.
Oh no, there are certainly half a dozen rabbits. Like, if anything, the largest population here probably is rabbits. But like,
Really?
I think
mean,
the otter is the most exotic.
yeah, Brisforn is a bit more, I guess, out of place here, but at the same time, not entirely. It is, of course, a coastal city and a capital of that. Though most of the otters, of course, would then be at the more dock ports of the city. You're at the front gates from the land area. So you're seeing a lot more people who seem to be at home within forested or plain type regions. You're seeing a lot of dogs, wolves, cats, rabbits. There's a whole mix of people here, all clustered and shuffling around against each other, moving back
This
and
rabbit
forth.
smells more familiar, though.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
When Crag sees the large dragon, he says, "That man looks like he needs someone else to do things for him."
Would not doubt it.
I can't help but feel as though whatever he's doing in this city is hurting people.
It's gold, though. He might have a job.
Nonetheless, you are able to secure yourselves rooms here at the inn, and I presume both Ristforn and or Sidier would. Are you guys AFK?
No.
Okay, it's got Z's by your head for some reason.
No, I'm here.
Because we haven't done anything on Fantasy
Ah.
Grounds.
Okay,
I
so
sort
it
of
shows
just
a-
watches
shows
through
a-
the stream most of the time.
It shows an AFK kind of clock.
No,
Z's
the AFK is when they're the clock is when they're actually AFK. The
Yes,
Z
that's what I
just
was-
means they haven't touched Fantasy Grounds.
That's what I was about to say. Yes. Anywho, you now have a place where you can all meet up at the end of the night, and losing each other in a crowd is less of a actual threat. Now that you've actually done a bit of establishing where you are now in the city. Congratulations.
See, how's
With that said, you're more or less all free to go about searching for whatever it is you want to search for, be it a job from an incredibly fat dragonborn, or items to restock upon, or
Graham
newer,
is gonna
better
go
items.
check out the place that he was going to check out before. The fortune teller tent, I guess.
Does anyone decide to travel along with Graham?
Does that girl come along with Graham?
Did Kai fit through the doors of the inn? Or is
Kai
she
did not.
just sitting outside?
Kai is basically just sitting outside in the casually
Scaring off
glancing,
all the other customers.
more or less.
I don't know. Would this inn even have like stables?
No, this is an inn in the midst of a city. There
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying.
How
Like,
do we get a bear in a city?
there's a lot of other various forms of livestock coming in, but most of it is transporting items. It is a good question how you did get a bear into the city, as it feels like places would not generally allow that.
I'm sure he's not the first ranger with a weird pet, though.
Most likely.
If anyone complains, just summon another bear.
Oh yeah. Just threaten them vaguely with my staff of bears. I have more where that came from.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Speaking of, I guess, excellent timing, a guard does come in, and he kind of like gestures his thumb out the door. Whose bear's that?
Crag raises his hand at looking smug.
Do you have a permit for that?
Crag looks very confused. What's a permit? He says permit with a Nolish accent.
The guard kind of stares at you blankly. Of course, it looks blank to you because he's got one of those helmets on where you can't really even see his face. He then kind of just gives a sigh that echoes through the metal chamber, surrounds his head, and gives a gesture. I'm going to need you to come with me.
Crag shrugs and follows, cautiously.
Craig would proceed to be taken to an office of administration where he would need to pay a fine to get his pet looked at and basically certified to even be allowed in town. Which, again, it's strange how you got him in here, but then again, you do realize there have been a lot of crowds. And maybe there was some luck factoring into that in the background. Wink, wink. At least until just now.
It is very clear through the whole process that Crag has absolutely no idea what any of this is.
It takes a while to explain to you, but it also... but basically what it comes down to is, or at least the part that they make very clear to you is you need to pay gold for Kai to be.
You cut out.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it.
Not for me.
Well, they get it. They go really basic to explain it to you. You need to pay gold for the bear to be here.
Crag asks why? She's my
Because
friend.
the bear is dangerous and also not a person?
She's not dangerous, she's trained. She's only dangerous if you are in need of being endangered by her.
If she's trained, then we need to see that she is trained, and you need to pay us money to let you walk around with a bear. People don't
Crag
like
does
bears.
not understand.
Listen, either you pay us the money and show us the training, or your bear goes outside the city.
Crag asks how much.
20 gold.
Crag says that's a scam.
You're bringing a bear here.
Bear with me.
I think Crag needs assistance. He doesn't understand bureaucracy.
Unfortunately,
Crag is
Kind of went
alone.
alone.
you're gonna have to, I don't know, maybe roll an intelligence check to try and see if they can get this through your thick skull.
Oh,
Nope.
no.
Does anyone sense Crag's impending doom? Please don't help.
I mean, they're not gonna. They're just literally gonna say you can't be in town.
did you ask anyone to go with you?
He didn't. A guard just came in, asked who the bear was. Crag raised
I was
his
just
hand.
wondering if anyone wanted to come and when they saw Crag being dragged away by guards.
He wasn't dragged away. You just followed him.
Did this happen before or after Graham left to go see the fortune teller?
Unfortunately, that would be after. As a roll was made, the guards finally noticed the bear.
So Zyre can't help either.
Sidir would be out looking for new parchments and ink.
And Risforn was a little preoccupied securing the actual room itself.
Yeah, Craig, you are straight up bone around.
Sorry.
My headset just cut out.
Oh no.
That was my headset's fault.
Yes. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, it comes down to either Craig can figure out that he just needs to pay them, or bad things.
Can Craig haggle the price down? He can try.
He can try. As I will always say, you can try.
Craig says, "What about 10 gold? She is a good bear." Wrong roll.
That is the wrong roll.
Oh my.
The person who seems to be operating the admission office is rubbing their forehead and just seems to be sick of you existing, and just goes, "Okay, let's just show her the training. If she makes the training, will you just get out of here?"
Craig smiles and nods, still seeming confused about this whole thing.
One of the guards starts to slowly raise a hand, but what about the admission? I'll cover it.
Have they ever had to deal with a gnoll before?
They've never had to deal with someone this stupid before. And your pure stupidity is working in your favor.
See, Graham isn't stupid. He's just unaware.
That is true. He's not. He's just completely oblivious, and it has made the.
For a gnoll.
I will note, someone is paying 20 gold for you to get out of their face. This person is either rich or has actually had it with you.
Probably both.
They probably want to murder you, but being that they're a city guard, they can't.
Well, this person isn't a guard. This person's some sort of administrative.
Our
Bureaucrat.
reputation may have made it here too, but maybe not. Who knows?
Not to
Probably
this
not.
scale yet. No.
Alright.
But you would proceed to. The guards would proceed to put Kai through some tests and whatnot. And I'm not even gonna have you roll for this, simply because I don't want you to fail this one.
Craig rolled a natural 20 on being dumb, stupid, annoying.
Yeah, basically.
They probably lax their requirements.
Probably. Anyways, Sidir, you're going out to buy parchment paper and ink or something of the sort, you said?
Correct.
You may feel free to go into the item inventory. You can easily find that for sale. Feel free
Alright.
to add it to your inventory for the price of gold, of course. Risforn, you easily secure a place for the night. If you do anything after the fact, you're more than welcome to. This is a large city, and there's plenty of things you can find. Possibly fishing supplies, like fish dust.
Risforn will head off to the docks again. He wants to go actually fishing.
Okay, are you headed for the docks that you came in at, or are you headed for the ocean docks?
Whichever are closest.
Okay. The ocean docks are several miles away. Many miles away, actually. This is I can't express enough. It's a huge city.
You basically have to go to the opposite side of the city.
Yes. You're at the front end. You're at a place where you weren't actually here. You were AFK. If you take a look at your map, you came down the river. Pardon?
I could hear.
You could not hear. You could hear.
He
I
could.
could.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, okay. So you did hear everything that happened. Cool.
Yes.
So
I
you
have
go
a
out to the
wireless headset.
Ah. So you go out to the river, and you're able to go into the canal-made set of water. There, luckily, is enough of a canal there and enough water transferring in from the river that you do find some fish and life about, especially near the dock. There seems to be a sort of culture going. You notice there's even crustaceans that seem to have come here. Freshwater crustaceans, of course. And I am assuming you're doing your basic, where you strip down, jump into the water, and swim around, catch things with teeth.
Yep.
You would take notice that there is a sort of drain, a massive drain. Definitely larger than you in size, but of course it's barred and gated. It does seem to work a little bit against your swimming, but it does seem to bleed into the city, at least through the city from what you can tell. It's an interesting thing to take a note of. Likely leads to the sea from what you can tell. Anywho, back to Graham Zinzire. And was anyone else going to the gypsy?
Nope, it was just them.
Right, as you enter the tent of the gypsy, she takes note of you, and you instantly notice that she's a rather small ferret with wraps over her eyes. She's clearly someone who's been blind for a good while. This place is less of an actual building and more of a tent that was set up in an alley. And as such, there are things that show sort of lack of permanence to the whole area. Things are either sort of nailed in or hooked to the sort of brickish sides of the walls. Though the tent is set up so that there's a whole bunch of dangling little bits of crystal and whatnot to try and make the place seem fancy, as well as some lanterns and whatnot that give the place a sort of purple luminescence of its own right.
Graham seems surprisingly comfortable in this very what is it? Transient. No, not transient.
Transition.
Whatever. No, I think it's like whatever. A place that doesn't seem like it's gonna actually like stay there for long.
Yeah.
Yeah, transient.
I thought it was like transcendental or something like that. But
As you walk in, she goes, "Oh, hello. How are you doing today?"
I'm doing pretty good. I think nothing terrible has happened yet.
She takes makes just a few nods.
Sire just shrugs.
To answer your question that you just PM'd me, Blue, yes, that also would be available for base.
Awesome.
Anywho, she gives a few nods. Yes, nothing's terrible has happened yet. At least not in comparison.
So I heard you doing some fortunes and stuff.
Fortunes, fates, all the like. I've been wondering when you'd come over here, so are you ready?
You were expecting me?
I expect many people, as many people come to me from. Though yours has been foretold for quite some time now.
Really? Graham will take a seat, or like whatever if it's like a rug, and then he'll do like kind of like a meditative sit.
She nods a few times. Yes, as you're already aware, lots of things seem to have foretold your coming. Even that roguish bard.
Oh, you know Moriarty?
Eve,
She
run away!
she sort of takes a sort of long sigh. I don't. Unfortunately, there aren't many people who don't know Moriarty.
I don't know how he gets around so much.
Well, he's a bard.
I
Bard magic.
understand that, but I mean, at the same point in time, it seems that he's very, very well known. Like, crazy well known, and yet he's just wandering around for who knows what reason.
She gives a light shrug. Many people have their own mysterious ways about going through this world. Such is his path. Do not question it.
Good point.
He does have an interesting fate. At least so the spirits tell me. You, on the other hand, are less spoken about by the spirits because the spirits do not seek you. If anything, they want to move away from you.
Why? I'm very nice.
That's because you seek out the spirit. You speak out. 6 spirits, in fact. Those: body, the mind, the soul, the spirit, the will, and the way.
Graham kind of ponders those words and like, aren't the soul and the spirit kind of the same thing though?
In many ways, yes. In many ways, no.
But please continue.
These 6 that you see come from the bloodline, which your friend has already sang to you of. Bloodline which has been passed down for generations, yet to this day it continues to dwindle, as it has been cursed to do so for centuries. And as you seek these individuals out, you come to this city, of course. I can try to persuade the spirits to help you find one of them for a price.
That would be wonderful. What's the price?
Oh, she taps her chin a bit, thinking. What do you think would be a good price to find someone who could help you save the world? She said, giving a rather sly smile.
This is also including the fact that by saving the world, will probably be saving your life. How about a favor?
She tilts her head from one side
Or
to
money,
the other.
depending on how much you want.
Well, a favor does work, though. If you're willing to pay with money, money does work as well. I still need to eat, of course.
Let's see. Graham will give her considering how long someone can live off of like a single gold piece, he will give her 10. But he'll give her give her like the equivalent of 10 gold and silver though.
So 100 of your silver.
Yeah.
Gotcha. As you hand over 100 silver to her in a rather large pouch, so to get down, peeks inside of it, which is confusing, of course, given that she's blind, but she seems to nod a few times. Placing it aside. I don't need to talk to the spirits to even know. The auras of these individuals resides very strongly in this city. They reside all over Miraleth, of course. But in this city in particular, there are quite a few of them. And since I assume you don't want to spend all your gold here. I'll go ahead and I'll give you a forenote of who you want to seek. To see someone of the body, more often than not, they will visually stand out of a crowd. The same could be said of the will and the way.
Graham kind of grimaces at her telling him about the body, because then he immediately thinks of the dragonborn.
The same could be said for those who have spirits of the will and the way. They're known for being hearty and sought after when things get rough. Those of the mind are more reclusive. They take to their studies and revel in them through the day and night without even noticing. Ironically, most of the mind forsake the body, often either forgetting about it or simply. Also, I do apologize. We're going a little over time here. I hope that's all right.
It's fine.
Just a little bit.
Just okay. Those of the soul see beyond what is there and often have the sight to see what is not there and show what is. A champion of the soul will often see into your own mind if you're not careful. Those of the spirit are often free, as a true spirit is hard to tame. Due to this nature, many will often try to capture their spirit and place it away, either in a cell or cage. This spirit often lacks that of a soul and is as such is short-sighted, living in the moment and reacting in an instant. Those of the will stand tall and proud, for a champion of will make such will known. Often champions can bring others together, where other times they may simply show qualities like a silver throat and a matching charm. Those of the way are the ones that often make the path, for a champion of the way will find or create a way. Champions like this who forsake the mind and soul many times will make the way more than trying to find it. If that's clear enough for you. And then she sits down, has her little crystal ball there.
Can I get that stuff written down? Well, actually, Graham will. Wait, does Graham? I don't think Graham actually has anything to write that down with. He'll look at Zaire.
Nothing.
Maybe bring back a friend of yours who has some. I'll gladly repeat it. Anyways, she moves her crystal ball, and for the sake of keeping things short, she looks good. Boom, smoke. There are all of which seem to be of the spirit that have gathered here in town today. Some of which are here of their own volition, some of which are very much not. You can very much sense a good channel coming from the prison that is with here. Perhaps that would be a place to look. And then she does some sort of magic, not going to really describe it to save time, and then hands you an amulet,
Ooh.
which she seems to have recently enchanted. This will help you find one of the ones that the souls have shown me, she says, handing it to you.
Alright. Graham shall put that around his neck.
Alright, and with that, she gives a nod and then kind of moves, place her hands on your shoulders for gripping them, and turning you around and proceeding to push you out the tent. Alright, that's all. She just proceeds
Thank
to usher you
Bye.
out the tent. For some odd reason, you've overstayed your welcome. And with such, Graham is left with the little piece of prophecy that will hopefully lead the party in the right direction. Now, that said, I believe we are ready to wrap up here. The party would proceed to come back together, of course, at the nighttime, having purchased many goods here and there. Rather easy to settle down for the night. It's a busy tavern, though, so there is some noise until it gets to be much later. But we are able to find a good night's sleep tonight and have a next stop for the party.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us for Tales of Miraleth Dungeons and Dragons. I will be back tomorrow with Diablo 3, followed by Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Do come on by for that. We've got the assault on Enbar, the capital, to do tomorrow. Do check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got merchandise, we've got links for Discord, Telegram, Twitter. We've also got information on our Minecraft server and other servers that we run there. So check that all out at zgfgaming.com. Please consider supporting the channel by donating, subscribing, becoming a patron. Because of those that do support the channel, we are able to keep doing this. So consider doing that and doing so and helping out here. For now, though, thank you all so much for joining, and I bid you a very fond adieu.
Bye. Thank you for dropping by.
Goodbye.
Good night, all.
Bye.